was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access.
In this powerful and eye-opening video, we dive deep into the explosive resolution introducing Congress the Censure Representative Ilhan Omar. The controversy stems from her reported remarks suggesting loyalty to Somalia over the United States, statements that many lawmakers are calling not just inappropriate, but outright treasonous. As a result, there are mounting calls for her to be stripped of her committee assignments and held accountable for betraying the very oath she swore to uphold. This issue goes far beyond one member of Congress. It raises a critical question every American must confront. Where does true loyalty lie? In a time when foreign influence is creeping into our politics, when national security is under constant threat, and when America's unity is being tested like never before, the stakes could not be higher that I break down exactly why this moment matters, why loyalty to the Constitution and to the United States must always come first above any personal, cultural, or foreign allegiance. The survival of our republic depends on it. This is not about partisanship. This is about principle. It's about defending the sovereignty of the United States against divided allegiance, compromised leadership, and dangerous ideologies that put America second if we allow elected officials to openly prioritize another nation over our own. We set a precedent that threatens the very foundation of our democracy. Every patriot should be paying attention to this, because history teaches us that great nations fall not only from external enemies, but from internal weakness and betrayal. This video is more than commentary. It's a wake-up call. America must decide whether it still has the courage to defend itself, to demand loyalty from those who serve, and to preserve the freedoms that generations of patriots sacrifice to protect. Stay tuned until the end, because what we reveal is not just about Ilhan Omar, it's about the future of America.
Seek recognition.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 2A.1 of Rule 9, I seek recognition to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows.
Recognized.
Censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Whereas elected members of Congress take an oath to bear true faith and allegiance to the United States without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar took an oath of allegiance to the United States upon becoming a citizen, declaring, I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen. Whereas on January 27, 2024, Representative Omar gave remarks at an event in Minneapolis in which she made treasonous statements. Whereas Representative Omar said she has spoken to many Somalians who asked her to intercede for the Somali government by pressuring the United States government into certain actions. Whereas Representative Omar assured the Somalians she spoke to, the U.S. government will only do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interest of Somalia. Whereas Representative Omar continued, for as long as I am in U.S. Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters will not be stolen by Ethiopia or others. Sleep in comfort knowing I am here to protect the interest of Somalia from inside the U.S. system. Whereas George Washington warned in his farewell address of 1796 to guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism, and further declared citizens by birth or choice of a common country, that country has a right to concentrate your affections. The name of American, which belongs to you in your national capacity, must always exalt the just pride of patriotism more than any appellation derived from local discriminations. Whereas these statements by Representative Omar clearly violate the oath she took as an elected member of Congress to defend and protect the United States Constitution. Whereas Representative Omar has exhibited the treasonous tendencies George Washington warned about, and her actions must be condemned by all members of Congress who adhere to the oath they took upon assuming office. And whereas by openly admitting her efforts to advance Somalia's interest using her position as a United States representative, Representative Omar has revealed herself to be a foreign agent acting on behalf of a foreign government. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured. Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee of the Budget and the Committee on Education and the Workforce.
America just witnessed something that should shake every single citizen who still believes in loyalty to this country. A resolution has been brought forward in Congress to censure Representative Ilhan Omar. And after hearing the words read on the House floor, I have to say this as plainly as possible. If you aren't concerned yet, then you're not paying attention. Let's lay this out with absolute clarity. Every member of Congress swears an oath. That oath is not symbolic, not ceremonial, not some meaningless tradition. It is sacred. They swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, to bear true faith and allegiance to this republic, and to reject all loyalty to foreign powers. That promise is a foundation of our democracy because without it, you cannot trust those elected to place America first. Without it, our institutions crumble from within. So what happens when an elected representative openly admits that her loyalty belongs elsewhere? What happens when her words echo not the voice of an American legislator, but the rhetoric of a spokesperson for a foreign government? That is exactly what we are dealing with in this case, that on January 27th, Ilhan Omar allegedly stood before a crowd in Minneapolis and declared something stunning. She reportedly said that the United States government will only do what Somalians in America tell them to do, that lawmakers will follow orders, and that as long as she remains in Congress, Somalia's interests will be safeguarded. Think about that for just a moment. Not that she would fight for the American people, not that she would protect her constituents in Minnesota, but that she would serve Somalia, its waters, its borders, and its interests from inside the halls of our government. This was no slip of the tongue, no off-the-cuff remark, no quote lost in translation. These were deliberate words, words that betray the oath she took when she became a citizen of this country, words that betray the oath she swore when she entered the House of Representatives, words that reveal something far more dangerous, divided allegiance. And divided allegiance is not just a concern, it is a threat. George Washington, in his farewell address, warned us about this very danger. He spoke of the impostures of pretended patriotism, of those who wear the cloak of American citizenship but whose true loyalties lie elsewhere. He reminded us that the name American must always come before any local, cultural, or foreign tie. Because once it doesn't, once foreign allegiance seeps into the heart of our republic, the unraveling begins from within. And now, more than 200 years later, here we are, watching a sitting member of Congress speak as though her true mission is not to the United States, but to Somalia. Let me be absolutely clear. This is not about heritage. This is not about background. This is about allegiance. When you sit in Congress, you represent the United States of America, period. You are there to protect the Constitution, defend the people, and safeguard the sovereignty of this nation. Nothing else. That if your mission is to act as a foreign agent, to use your power and influence to advance the agenda of another country, then you do not belong in the people's house. And this is precisely why this resolution matters. It doesn't just call for censure, which is a formal condemnation. It demands accountability. It would force Omar to stand in the well of the House and face the charges publicly. It calls for her removal from the Budget Committee and the Education and Workforce Committee. Why? Because no one who openly pledges to advance foreign interests should ever be trusted to shape America's financial future or have influence over the education of our children. This is not a game. This is not partisan theater. This is about national security, loyalty, and the integrity of our government itself. If Omar's words are indeed what she said, then Congress should unite, Republican and Democrat alike, and declare enough is enough. because if betrayal of this magnitude is allowed to slide, then what message does it send to the world? That you can take the oath of office, swear allegiance to America, and then boast about serving another nation from the floor of our legislature? That you can spit on the Constitution and still sit on powerful committees? No. That cannot stand as a patriot. I will say this. America comes first, always. If you serve in Congress, your duty is not to Somalia, not to China, not to Russia, not to any other flag. Your duty is to America. And if you cannot embrace that, if you cannot put the Constitution above all else, then you have no right to call yourself a representative of the United States. This moment is a very danger George Washington foresaw, a wolf in sheep's clothing, a politician who carries a badge of American citizenship, but wields it for the benefit of another land. If we lack the courage to confront this betrayal now, then we are complicit in the slow destruction of our own country. That is why this resolution must move forward. That is why Omar must be held accountable. Because this isn't just about one representative. It's about whether America still has the backbone to defend its sovereignty. It's about whether we still believe in the meaning of the oath. And it's about whether we, as a people, are willing to demand that our leaders put America, and only America, first. The time for silence is over. The time for excuses is over. The time to defend the Republic is now.